more hype. We'll get to it at 3 o'clock. Michigan State basketball is the way we begin the show. Spartans got a win last night at Penn State. They got a win against Illinois last weekend. Starting to trend up. Buried too soon, you tell us. David, what do the ticket texters have to say?
I'm sick of MSU excuses and Izzo slaps. Been 25 years since the title. They continuously drop the ball and fall short of expectations. Costa still believes the Izzo and March thing. He isn't that anymore. Go look at his record. They lose on the first weekend more often than they don't. That is from Mike.
I would agree. The mystique isn't what it was. I don't think he has that same level of success that he once was. I think we covered that to start the show. My point was this team.
Come on, man.
Rico.
Izzo is polarizing, so either you praise him too much or you beat him down too much.
I'm just trying to live in the here and the now with this team. They underachieved to start the season. They are playing much better, despite what other people tell you. They're playing better. Metrically, they grade out as a team that can go on a deep tourney run. They have 3 veteran guards. They've got a front court scorer who's a veteran who's playing some of his best ball of his career. They've got a coach who, while he hasn't done it as frequently as peak Izzo, is still Tom Izzo. And you would think we don't even have a basketball team in the state worth talking about. Rico, they're flipping the switch late in the season at the right time.
Because here's the thing. I will say this. For everybody who was like, well, Izzo hasn't won in 25 years or 24 years. No one in the Big Ten has. They're still the last team. Because I don't count Maryland because Maryland wasn't in the Big Ten at the time that they won it. No Big Ten team has won since 2000. So if that's the case, then the entire conference sucks.
Well, the conference has been
But they've
underachieving.
They've made, I think, the championship game 8 or 9 times during that period. They just can't win the big game.
David, what else?
I just roll with the punches because someday Izzo is going to hang it up and we're going to become North Carolina under Matt Doherty. John in Lake Orion. Someone else says, Izzo is washed. A couple wins doesn't change that. This was supposed to be his greatest team ever and hasn't done anything except for a first weekend out.
Okay, real quick. This team had a lot of expectations. But let's not confuse things. This was not his best team ever, Rico. Am I missing
It was supposed
something?
to be, though.
Was it supposed to be?
It was talked about.
No, Izzo came out and he said that he really likes this team.
Okay.
This was all his words.
I don't think this is the best team he's ever had. Do you? I think it's a good team that can go on a run here. I want to be.
No, ironically enough, the 2 best teams that he had both early exits.
Yeah. Oh.
The Denzel Valentine's senior year, that was the was it Memphis? Middle Tennessee.
Yeah,
Tennessee State. Yes.
Giddy Potts, baby. I think the ticket texts that we've already taken are kind of proving my point, though. I'm not promising you a Final Four. I didn't say this team's winning a national title. I said, guys, the ingredients are there and they're playing well, and everybody else is going, yes, they're currently 6 feet under. How dare you bring the shovel? They're proving my point. Many people have written this team off prematurely because the season's not over. They are playing some of their best ball, and I think you owe it to yourself to see it through if you think there's even half the talent you thought there was on opening night.
But you also have to remember where we live. So you have half the people who just want to see crash and burn and laugh no matter what. So, well, you didn't do this and you didn't do that. That's where you have a whole city and a fan base that just anti-Michigan State. Now, a lot of Spartan fans, your expectations are so high, like Mike, that when you don't achieve them, I can't settle for less.
No, then skewer them. My point is if they underachieve, then skewer them. But season's not over.
Yeah, what is the standard of the program, though? And I think people were seeing, and I'm still seeing, I don't see that standard right now to say they can make that and get that.
So, okay, on the fly here, what's a successful season?
A successful season?
Yeah, where you say, wow, that was a successful Michigan State basketball season.
Yeah, if they make the Sweet 16. Where they're at right now, yeah.
I think the standard of MSU with Tom Izzo as your coach, Final Four is a success.
Yes.
It should, right. That's where they should be, but being realistic.
Yeah, at least make it to that regional final, right?
If you want to be realistic,
give yourself a chance.
Probably not going to. Okay? You're not. I mean, because when you play Purdue, you're going to find out what it is like going up against one of the big boys in college basketball. They're going to embarrass you.
Jerry, get some of your thoughts. Jerry, you're on 97.1.
Hey guys, how you doing out there?
Hey, Jerry.
So I've been watching Spartans basketball now, and my thing with Izzo, I really started to lose faith in him after Middle Tennessee because you guys were just talking about how good of a team that was, and then I believe a few years later we had another solid team. I think Cassius Winston was on the team, and we lost to Buffalo like in the first or second weekend. And to the point that you guys are saying, like, what is the standard? And I think the fact that we even have to ask that question is why we have to start questioning whether or not Izzo should, continue to be the coach other than his name being Tom Izzo, because for a while there, the standard was Final Four, trying to win a title. We're a blue blood. We're Kansas, Kentucky, North Carolina. But I personally don't remember the last time I felt like this was a blue blood team. And again, the fact that we have to question to me, an outstanding season this year would just be getting to the Elite Eight. I'd be like freaking out if we got to the Elite Eight, but that seems weird as a Spartan basketball fan. And I don't know, man, the fact that we're like, well, what's the standard now? Well, if the standard's not what it was, then maybe we need to start questioning.
Jerry, you're right. Jerry's right.
Jerry, it is. But, Jerry, I'll say this. There's really one blue blood team out there if you really look at college basketball. There's only one team.
Kentucky or North Carolina?
Say what? No, it's Kansas.
Kentucky or North Carolina?
No, Kansas. Have you seen Kentucky basketball lately? They hate their coach. As bad as we talk about Izzo, they're talking about Calipari.
Hold on. Isn't UConn a blue blood with their success?
UConn rises and falls. Kansas is the only one that consistently is always there. Duke, now that Coach K is gone, like Izzo, he's taking a step back.
Well, North Carolina played for the championship a couple years ago,
and now
post Roy Williams, and they're going to be in contention again this year.
They were Michigan State last year. They started preseason number 1, didn't make the tournament after winning the national title. So, I mean, this is one where I think reputation falls in, and there's facts and there's what people believe. Facts say there's only one team that's a blue blood, Kansas. Kansas consistently is always there.
I would just
Duke is on the way down. New coach, North Carolina, on the way down. Kentucky, all the NBA talent they get, they keep getting in their own way.
I think Jerry makes a good point. It's the question of Izzo and how the program has fallen. They aren't what they once were.
Nope.
I think that's obvious, and it is fair to criticize and question Tom Izzo, to wonder about the longevity and the health of the program and should he be here for much longer. Those big picture conversations, I think, are fair. They're welcomed. My question was about this year's team, which unquestionably had the talent preseason, is playing noticeably better now, and metrically grades out as a team that could go on a run, yet nobody wants to talk about that. Because of the bigger picture.
Right,
I'm saying just focus in, dial in. They're on the eve of March.
You can't, because Spartan fans don't want to be hurt.
Okay.
They don't want to buy in. If I don't buy in, you can't break my heart. If I don't accept the date and go out with you, you can't break my heart.
I think you're right.
You're not going to do this to me again. No.
Where's your bell?
No.
Give yourself a ding. That's a great point.
That's all it is.
If I don't start to believe, I can't be hurt.
You can't disappoint me because I won't believe in you. So therefore, if it happens, I'll jump on the bandwagon at the same second.
Yep. You exceeded my expectations.
But does that bother you? Like, as a Michigan fan, David, seeing these Michigans, they can only have their cake and eat it too when they're good, and they don't want any of the pain and the suffering when they're bad.
No, I'm with Spartan fans on that. I understand where most of them are.
But it's like Mike makes it like, I can't believe you go to these games. I can't believe you watch the games. I'm like, I'm going to watch them, but I've lowered my expectation. So I don't get angry. It's like, okay, you go on the road. They won their second Big Ten road game last night. I don't expect them to win when they go on the road.
Here's a dirty little secret. When you get to the tournament, none of the games are true road games.
Right.
So
but it's like, oh, but what about this? Spartan fans don't want to be hurt again.
Okay.
Because you've had this expectation, and the times you really believed, that's when they crash and burn. But when you really look at the NCAA tournament, NCAA basketball is funny and it's fickle. How many top teams win it all? They don't.
Single elimination. It's unforgiving.
Right. Like Purdue went in there, best team ever, until they played the first round game against Fairleigh Dickinson.
All right, 3 o'clock. There is a local product whose draft hype continues to grow by the day. We'll get to it top of the hour. We've got football questions next, 97.1.